So yes, we have some new merch on the rexhyt.com website. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this first because I posted it there before I did anywhere. The stickers are live now and they are a limited release. A lot of you have actually already purchased these. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. The intro definitely deserves a like. Big thanks to all the guys for helping me out. Let's continue on with today's video. Like straight up, I usually prefer sunny weather, nice and cool with a little bit of a breeze. That's like my ideal weather, but lately, it being as cold as it actually is, it's definitely not ideal. Lachlan's just arrived actually because we have something that we need to talk about. The worst financial decision I have ever made. Coming around the garage, the RexH garage, you can see that I own 3 cars so far. I have an MR2, which I love dearly. I have a Toyota Camry, which is my daily, and I drive this everywhere. A lot of people are really happy to see this because this is my most popular car on the channel. And of course, Lachlan and I have purchased a 2008 E92 BMW 323i, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, of course, with the Benki release, you know that we're trying to be making this Benki car less Benki. So Lachlan has gone ahead and bought himself, oh, what's this, dude?
The whole new front bar.
Whole new front bar?
It is.
Let's have a sus. Oh, he's got the mounting brackets too. It's silver. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's not the right color. The Benki is going to be yellow, it's going to be pink, it's going to be black, and now it's going to be silver too.
Not to mention our green.
Dude, it looks good though.
Great condition.
What have we got here? Nice. So I thought in today's video we could better explain the reasoning for why we've taken so long to finish the BMW and why it's been such a financial burden for not just me and for Lachlan as well. So at the beginning of the year, Lachlan and I purchased this BMW and we were anticipating to make a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of money from the build, you know, selling the car for a profit and, you know, obviously making money back. So that unfortunately didn't end up happening because we found out that there were so many different inspections that we had to do, you know, so many different checks that you had to do with a written off vehicle in Victoria, and that set us back a whole lot of days, a whole lot of money was spent. It's now like nearly 6 months later. Yeah, 6 months later and we still have the car. So this thing has been more of a burden than a blessing. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, but it's just been such a pain in the ass. But with every failure, you learn something. Don't you, fam?
What did we learn with this?
What do we learn with this?
Don't buy written off cars.
Exactly.
Don't buy cheap written off cars.
Exactly. So here's where it gets a little bit different. It's not the actual money that we spent on the car that was financially difficult for us. We were easily able to afford every single fix on this. However, it was the long-term spending of money that really let us down here. You know, I'll be straight up transparent with you. We probably spent about, you know, 3.5 grand each, pretty much trying to fix this thing. And I guess it's still like a heap of money, but it's not really significant, I guess. You know, it was over 6 months. But the issue here was because we spent it over 6 months, we weren't able to put any of our money into anything else. Lachlan has plenty of other projects that he needs to spend money on, and this thing just prevented us from doing that. So obviously as a creator, I have, you know, videos to make, and I could have made so many videos with the money that I spent on this BMW, on the MR2, on the Camry, but of course I just wasn't able to put that money into these 2 cars over here because of the BMW. Like I said, it's not really crazy of an issue because, you know, we did learn from our mistake. You know, it's just something to do with getting written off vehicles that you just need to take into account. There's a number of different inspections that you need to go through, the biggest one being the VIV, which we actually did fail and I will speak about in another video, but we eventually did pass it, after the 2nd or 3rd try, was it? Second try. So we failed the VIV for only one reason. That's because the documentation of all the parts that we bought weren't in order. So the guy failed us because the tax invoices that we provided weren't exactly, you know, correct. So he wanted us to provide tax invoices between personal purchases, so between me and good old Joe over there. He wanted us to provide like proper receipts for, like, you know, parts that we purchased of other people. And that's very difficult because, you know, when someone sells a product that they have, you know, in the garage that they've been keeping for a while, they just want to get rid of it and they don't want to give you any documentation. You know, there's no need to do that. You know, when you buy something off like Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace, do you get a receipt for that? No. So we failed because of that. So we had to provide proper documents of all that. We had to go back to all the buyers that we needed to see, all the buyers that we purchased parts off, and that just made the whole process of parts VIV a whole lot more difficult. But we didn't actually fail on anything to do with the repairs. The guy said that the repairs were totally fine, right? He said that the only thing that we needed to fix was that one little thing that we needed, the one little body bit that we need to like smash out. But
Yeah, surprisingly our repair was actually fine, which, yeah, it was fine.
it was good.
It
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
What did the BMW prevent you from doing, like personally?
Painting the MR2, that's been like one of the major goals for the past fair few months.
Because how many colors is your MR2 now with that bumper?
Black, green, yellow, now grey, and pink. So I got 5, and yellow.
Mm.
So that's what, 6 different colours.
So Lachlan wanted to get paint for his MR2, and because the BMW was in our lives, we weren't able to do that, and that's exactly why it's the worst financial decision we've ever made. But it wouldn't have been bad. We just bought a broken car and we fixed it. That wouldn't have been bad.
Well, now we know that to put aside, what, 2-3 grand for inspections.
Exactly, $2,000 to $3,000 in Victoria for inspections to put a written-off vehicle back on the road. We thought it was only going to be like a couple of hundred when we first initially bought it, because we bought the car for like 2 grand,
Yeah,
1,600. So
like when these cars go, like they sell for like between like 9 and 10 grand. We're like, oh, we got a steal. We're going to be making bank on this.
exactly. So you know the retail price in these cars, secondhand. Well, not retail price. The secondhand.
Resale market for these cars.
Yeah, the secondhand resale market for these cars with about 150,000 kilometers is roughly around $7,000 to $8,000 in the state that ours is in. So we thought we were going to make a hell of a lot more money back, but we didn't realize that we're going to have to spend $2,000 on inspections. So if you want to get a written off vehicle in Victoria, prepare to be spending a lot of money on proper genuine parts and getting all the tax invoices correct. And the only reason why I would ever do it again is if we get a more expensive car. This BMW has passed all the inspections now. There's nothing else that we need to do for it to get registered. There's only, actually one thing. We need to get the car roadworthy, which is why we have the car out here today. We're putting the fender lining back on because we're getting it roadworthy today, and one of you could possibly buy it. So if you want to purchase this, message me on Instagram. We're trying to get rid of it because, you know, it's just a hassle in our lives, but there is nothing wrong with it. There's the interior, 160,000 kilometers. If you want to purchase it off us, let me know. So if you haven't watched the video yet, by the way, of me getting this car detailed, please go watch that. Look at this thing. It's incredible. Super shiny. I'm honestly blown away every time I see this car because it is crazy shiny now. It never used to be like this. Look how shiny it is. You can see Lachlan drinking coffee in the hood. Now you guys are probably curious to why I stopped also making videos on this car and the progression of it. And I'll be honest with you, it properly made me upset to think about this thing being in my driveway, just sitting there, you know, taking financial cuts away from my bank. I don't know, it really just annoyed me. So it was hard to make videos on this car, hard to be motivated by it. So that's why I just stopped making videos altogether on the progress of this car. And I'm sorry for that if you were following the build, but it just sort of, I don't know, it stressed me out quite a bit. It's just the fact that we have so many projects, so many ambitions, so many goals, and the car took that away from me. It wasn't a smart purchase. It honestly wasn't. But like I said, it wasn't the actual purchase cost. You know, the car was cheap. The money that we put into the car, not really that much. It's just the fact that it's been so long since we've had this thing. That's what's really causing the damage here. We're going to be taking the Camry, the daily. Just at the bottom, the big roll, that huge roll. Yeah, you got it. So we finally dropped the BMW off to get roadworthy, so we should get it back in a couple of days. Until then, we're just gonna be focusing on some of the small projects that we got lying around the garage. For example, I gotta fix up my mum's car. Lachlan is just sanding it down because I gotta help him with his bumper, so he's helping me do some work. Look at that big roll of masking tape, dude. I originally bought that to make stickers, but it didn't even end up working, so it was just the biggest waste of sticky tape. I guess we can use it around the garage and stuff, so. So I thought I'd take the time here to explain to you where all the money went in the inspections, because there were quite a few inspections that we needed to do to get the car registered and back on the road. I'll just name the inspections here. You need an SRS report, you need a structural and frame report or something. So that's two in itself, isn't it? Structural and frame report. You need to get a VIV report, you need to get a roadworthy there's a lot of inspections that you got to do to get a car back on the road, and that's where our biggest mistakes came into play, because we assumed that it was just going to be one simple inspection after we got the car fixed. You've seen a lot of American videos, they just fix up the car and get it roadworthy and then the car's back on the road, but no. In Victoria, it works completely differently. So that's where most of our money was spent. So the SRS report by itself involves you purchasing a brand new seatbelt from the manufacturer or getting one secondhand from a car that hasn't been written off. And who's gonna sell their seatbelt? Who would do that? You have to get a brand new seatbelt pretty much, and that set us back. Just the seatbelt alone was like $500 installed at BMW. I thought a seatbelt would be probably like, you know, $90 or whatever, but nah, it ended up being like $500 just for the seatbelt part, which is insane. The SRS report now as well was $300, so in total we probably spent, you know, upwards of nearly $1,000 just to get the seatbelt done and the SRS report done. The next report was the structural and frame report. We had to bring the car back and forth probably like 3 or 4 times because they needed other little documentation bits, or I don't know. That cost us upwards of, how much was that? $500? So that's already like nearly $2,000. 1.5 grand in report stuff, right? Yeah, it's crazy. What else was there? Also including the fact that we had to drive the car, that cost us money on fuel, and we also needed to get a unregistered permit, so we needed to spend $80 every single month that we wanted to drive the car. So in the 5 months that we've spent driving the car, or 5 months that we've had the car, we've probably spent about $500 registering it so we can legally drive it on the road. I don't think we registered it for 1 month because we just had it sitting there waiting to do its next inspection, but you see where the money's going. It's ridiculous with the amount of inspections that you got to do to the car. And of course, this isn't the final inspection. The biggest one is the VIV report, and that's going to cost you $600, which is a joke, but you got to spend $600 to have the car looked at by someone to see if your work's good, and then check over all your tax invoices to see if everything's fixed really good. Ah, my goodness, I'm complaining a lot, but you see where all the money's going. This is something that Lachlan and I had no idea about. We didn't do the research and see that we needed to do all these different inspections before buying a written off vehicle. That's where we made a mistake, and that's where we learned from. So it's not really the worst thing in the world, because we did learn from this, and we just know not to do it next time, or at least get a more expensive car, because obviously after you spend $2,000 on a car when the car's worth $8,000, you know, you lose profit there just having to spend money on inspection. You know, we thought we were just going to be able to spend money on the parts to fix the car and then just quickly flip it, but that obviously wasn't the case, and we've ended up keeping the car for like 6 months and not making any money on it, or breaking even on it. So yeah, learn from our mistakes. If you're going to get a written off vehicle, please purchase one that's going to make you some dosh, and include that you're going to have to spend probably $2,000 to $3,000 in inspections. That's something that Lachlan and I both didn't know. Like I said, we definitely won't be doing it again unless we have a little bit more money. But it definitely did take away from all the projects. Like I said, there were so many things that I wanted to do to the MR2 much sooner than I did them, and I wasn't able to do them anytime sooner because of the money tied up in the BMW. Same thing with even the Camry, believe it or not. Like, people don't think that I touch this car and play with it, but I do. I touch it everywhere, don't I, fam?
Any hole he sticks his hand in.
Look at this man. He's going ahead, playing with the Avalon. Nice. Look at that masking tape. It's huge. So we're gonna finish up painting the rest of this bumper. We'll see what else we need to do around in the garage. Oh yeah, and the reason why we're painting this is because someone hit my mum's car, so you can see I've already done the primer coat, but I tried to paint this before and oh my goodness, the paint didn't stick properly, so we had to sand it all over again, but we're just touching it up. My dad wants me to do this. But yeah, let's show you the before and after, baby. There you go, everything's touched up, got some shiny paint on there now. Really reflective. You're probably gonna be able to see the line where we painted, but that's gonna be fine when we sand everything back down again. But there you go. So before I made that other video on me not being able to drive the MR2 again for a while because we're going into lockdown, I didn't really know that we were able to go for drives and stuff. So according to the law, we can still go on some togs, fam. We just can't actually get out the car, can we?
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It says like everyone. Yeah, maybe I need to do more research.
Did Nathan say that?
No, yeah, everyone in the chat.
Yeah, you might want to do some more research.
Yeah, we'll do some more research, but I'm pretty sure we can. So we might take this car for a bit more of a drive. I've just put wax all over the car as well, so it's coming out extra shiny. Like, it just feels so good as well. It's like a brand new car. God damn, look at that. So smooth. Getting dusty in here though, so I need to take it out, take it for a drive. Also, just a reminder, this V6 engine will be going in the Bentley very shortly. We are currently waiting for the harness to get back from Paul Woods, who is the owner of Wood Sport, and he's doing the wiring harness completely free of charge and sponsoring the build for the Bentley. Of course, Paul also did the wiring harness for the MR2, and I like telling everyone that and getting people to head over to his website because it's literally the best product you can do for an engine swap, getting a plug and play harness. All I did was get the harness from Paul, plug everything back in, turn the key, and the thing started immediately. No problems, no issues or whatsoever. So that saved a huge headache. So if you want to get a wiring harness done for a V6 swap, head over to woodsport.org. But it's gonna be sick seeing this thing finally in the Bentley with, of course, all this flywheel clutch stuff, new spark plugs. We need to put those in, Lachlan. Spark plugs. No, you can put them in now if you want. Spark, dude. Ooh, don't mess this up.
You know who I've been talking to?
Who you been talking to, fam?
Been talking to Daniel Hertz.
You've been talking to Daniel Hertz, huh? What about?
I'll just leave it at that.
What do you mean?
Something may eventuate out of it.
Daniel Hertz is also a good name to mention. He's sending me over a ported out throttle body for the 3VZ because Lachlan and I have this sort of competition for when Lachlan gets the engine back in his car, or engine in the car. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna beat you in a race.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he has got the light flywheel.
I know so.
Do you now? What's Daniel Hertz setting you up for, huh? I'm getting you injectors, getting big throttle body. What's he gonna give you, huh? No more rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please learn from our mistake of buying a written off vehicle. Don't let it stop you from buying a wrecked vehicle. It's definitely a good idea if you get one that's gonna be selling for more of a better price than ours is, but ours is worth 8,000. We've spent 2,000 on inspection, so it's not really worth it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for buying the merch and supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. See you all in the next one. Peace.